And the Academy Award for Best Picture.
Come on. La La Land.
There's a mistake. Moonlight, you guys won Best Picture. Moonlight, Best Picture.
Welcome back to The Better Half. I'm Bradley J. Halverson, and here with me, she's my better half. It's Carly Corio. Hi, Carly.
Hi, Brad. I am stunned.
What a wild intro we had to put in today.
Intro, moment in history. Moment in our lives.
Yeah, I am so excited to break it all down with you here live in the studio.
We are together in the studio today.
That's right. We are on my couch. One day we'll afford the studio space. When you listeners start giving us your money.
We're waiting.
We've been patiently waiting. No, yeah. Carly, I'm so excited to talk about this movie today.
I'm a little bit excited.
Well, okay, Missy, you're going to have to turn that frown upside down because we're here to talk about Moonlight, okay?
Moonlight!
From 2016, directed by Barry Jenkins. It eventually won Best Picture at the 89th Academy Awards, which took place on February 26, 2017. And we were together, Carly, as you said, in Kansas in our last few months.
Manhattan, Kansas.
Before we graduated.
Yes, we were.
This is probably like the first Oscars I really watched, paid attention to, sat down, and it's really obviously a tribute to our friendship because your excitement for the Oscars is what made me even remotely interested. But pretty much from here on out, from this Oscars, I start getting into it. And it's
coming up on a decade for you.
I know. Yeah, 2017. I mean, we were probably in the midst of studying for our big comprehensive exams. I believe next month we're going to take a trip to Cleveland, my first time.
Yeah, and then on the way back, I'll get a speeding ticket.
Carly does drive recklessly. It's now podcast lore.
I did read up. This is the only movie that didn't win and then won all in the same night.
Yeah, I can't wait to break it all down. What happened? How did it happen? The movie that was initially announced, La La Land, we have to talk about it today as well.
We are big fans of that movie.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm just excited to get into all of it with you, Carly.
Me too. Yeah, I know Brad really likes this movie. To preface, so we lived in the same block when this movie came out. And then Brad, you made me watch this movie way back then too. I don't know if this was before the Oscar. I think it had to have been after the Oscars. But you did make me watch it after that, and I really enjoyed it. But this time around, I had a lot deeper feelings about it. So I'm excited to talk to you about them. Yeah,
and it's probably important to mention it now, but yeah, I certainly watched Moonlight after I knew that it won. And another reason why I was drawn to it, obviously, it's a LGBTQ film. And it's the only one that's been recognized in the Best Picture winner list, which is awesome. Although one could argue Wings, the first Best Picture winner, was also very gay.
So true. So true.
But the other appeal to me is that Moonlight was produced by a film company called A24, which around 2017 was hitting my radar. I suddenly was honing in on this production company. And really my entry point was The Witch. You know, A24 pumped out these really weird fucking horror movies. And I think Moonlight really is going to skyrocket them into the public spotlight because, certainly it's their first Best Picture winner. A24 really was put on the map for me. And in the years following there, I really grew to love this production company, watched a lot of their films.
You were a subscribed member of their membership
I was
club.
a paid member for a while, and then I had to cut it for economy reasons.
Wait, so, and this might be too hard, but what would you say? Could you pick a top A24 piece of art?
Yes, and I know what my top A24 movie is because I put most of them into my brackets, remember? My favorite movie bracket. And so I know what the highest A24 movie is from that bracket. And I will share exclusively here on this pod because it's not a Best Picture winner. It's also another movie I made you watch, Carly, but
I was going to say.
Do you have a guess?
Yeah, Hereditary.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yay! Brad made me watch Hereditary. Was it during COVID that we watched this or just?
I think, yeah, because we were doing that, we watched it together virtually.
Yeah, Brad was like, I want to watch this movie with you and I have to see your face while you watch it. And I was like, okay, weirdo. But there are a couple shocking, mostly one big shocking part of the movie that I just know Brad wanted to see my reaction. And so, yeah, Hereditary is a goodie.
If you know, you know. So yeah, so certainly, other A24 movies I love, it's Hereditary, Midsummer, The Witch, Moonlight. Moonlight, Everything Everywhere All at Once. So
A24 movies I love that Brad's never seen, although he loves, is Room by with Brie Larson, and The Florida Project, which you...
And Lady Bird.
And Lady Bird, right.
Which I have seen.
You do like Lady Bird.
Yeah.
But you have never watched Room, and
No.
that's kind of frustrating to me as a friend and a human and a woman.
I know.
But,
I'm getting there. I've just been so busy.
No, you... Shut up.
Before we start this recap, let me just tell you some of the prep I did, Carly, because I did watch Moonlight.
Prep?
And then I watched... I actually watched the movie. Hope you did too. And then I watched the director's commentary, and I bought the A24 screenplay book for Moonlight, which I'm holding right now and holding in front of you.
Showing me right in front of my face. It is a very nice book.
So yeah, we might be referencing a few different things. But let's get started. Moonlight is based off of an unpublished play by a man named Terrell Alvin McCraney. And so Terrell worked very closely with the director Barry. And in a lot of ways, this film, I think, is autobiographical to both these men. Terrell is a gay black man himself. And so a lot of his experiences kind of growing up as a gay black boy certainly references the movie. And then with Barry, the director, there's a lot that's happening with the mother character here with Paula that is from his life. So this movie is structured almost like a 3-act play, if you will. So there's 3 parts, there's 3 chapters, and we are following our character Chiron through all 3 chapters. He's a different age in each one. We start here with chapter 1, just called Little. And we first get introduced to Mahershala Ali's character, Juan. So he kind of drives up. He's out on the street. This takes place in Liberty City in Miami. I want to say maybe like around the 80s, this time frame. But what's important here is that Juan is a drug dealer. He sells drugs, specifically crack cocaine. So when we first see him, he's kind of interacting with some of the other sellers that are on the street, always keeping an eye out. And
you can tell he's like in charge too.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
He's not just a drug dealer. He is the HBIC.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And so he talks to a guy for a little bit, and then as he's crossing the street, suddenly there's a bunch of boys like rushing by, and it's like these 3 kids chasing after our main kid here, Chiron. So we do cut to these kids chasing after Chiron. We get a lot of mentions of the F slur here. I did note it.
Yeah.
So they're calling him nasty names. They are hunting this kid down, and he eventually is chased into this like very dilapidated, rundown kind of apartment building, and he runs inside. It's been abandoned, thankfully, but clearly this is a crack house, and the boys kind of like throw things at the door, throw things at the window, but then they get bored and they leave, and you just see Chiron inside this apartment.
You can hear him like things crushing under his leg, under
glass
his feet.
breaking.
Yeah, like it's not a good place. And I liked a lot of these like just sound effects that even more said like not a good place. And then he eventually picks up like a crack pipe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not much dialogue is happening in this movie. Period. This movie takes a lot in silences and just what Chiron is observing. Eventually, though, he starts hearing knocks at the door, which scare him a little bit, and he doesn't answer the door. So suddenly we see somebody kind of removing a big piece of plywood from the window. I almost like cardboard, but that was wrong. And it's Juan. Juan is here. He has followed the boys here. He knows this is a crack house. It's not a good place for a little young boy. And how old did you say Chiron is like here? Like 10?
10, yeah.
10. And so Mahershala Ali, a very tall man, can be very imposing looking, kind of steps into the apartment. And he's like, hey, what's up, little man? And they kind of take a moment just to kind of look at each other. And Chiron doesn't really say anything, doesn't acknowledge. And Juan is like, hey, are you hungry? Do you want some food? Let's get out of here, basically. And we don't see Chiron again. He doesn't say anything. Yeah, but we do cut to them at a diner, and Chiron's got a whole tray full of food, and he's like clearly hungry.
He's eating.
Yeah, so this movie gives you a lot of context clues without kind of hitting you over the head with it, of like his access to food may not be there, just with how quickly he is just
food is an important resource.
You could just tell, like here in Miami, like food is an important resource.
It's an important resource in this community specifically.
Juan is just watching him eat, and he's trying to be like, hey, what's your name? Like, hey, like, oh, he's like taking the tray of food a little bit. He's like, hey, you can have some more if you tell me what your name is. And you can see Chiron this little kid actor, like he's so good with his face. Like this puppy dog, like he immediately slumps in his seat and Juan immediately is like, no, I'm kidding. I'm so sorry about that. Like, here you go, little man.
Part of the audition for this role and the Chiron actor had to have been like, show me your sad, like, show me your sad looking down face.
Yeah,
and
he's really good at it.
Big part of the character, really. A lot of, and like you said, there's not a lot of dialogue from Chiron or in the movie at all. But so much of this role in all 3 chapters is nonverbal. So I really like that with the 3 actors that played him.
Yeah. So we cut away to the diner and Juan is driving Chiron to Juan's house to meet his girlfriend. And when they park outside the house, Juan's like, you're going to meet my girl, Teresa. She's going to get you to talk.
She's going to get you to talk, which is something interesting. It's not in the script book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that line is not in script book, which I actually really liked that line in the movie. So when I didn't see it in the script, I was like, huh.
It's interesting because we see Juan kind of get out of the car, but the camera stays inside the car. It stays on Chiron. Chiron's kind of like, again, just sitting in silence, like looking through the car windows. And I think a lot of the movie is like this POV of like, what is Chiron seeing? Like, we don't really even hear the initial words really between Juan and Teresa as they're speaking outside the car. Probably along the lines of like, who is this little boy and why'd you bring him here?
What the hell?
And then Teresa here, played by Janelle Monáe.
Love.
And we have to talk about it right here. She gets into the car and she just watches him. They don't even say hi. They just exchange a look. And every time that Janelle Monáe is on the screen, she just exudes this nurturing kindness, warmth. Like, it's unbelievable.
I don't know if you saw it in the book, but it says like that's part of like the character.
Really?
It was like Teresa, like, and it was like warm, motherly, mid-20s. So like they must have nailed it right on the head. Absolutely. And I can't say it enough how good she is in this movie.
So good.
And how little she's on screen. It's criminal.
But yeah, we get introduced to Juan and Teresa here. They we cut to the inside of the house and they're all like having dinner and we see Chiron just wolfing this food down. You know, Juan's like, you don't talk, but you sure are good to eat. And so finally Chiron opens up, tells them what his name is, Chiron.
People call me Little.
People call me Little. And they're like, well, where's your dad? We learned that Chiron's dad is not in the picture. And they're like, what about your mom? Should we take you back to your home tonight and take you back to your mom? And he is very adamant. He says no.
No. He doesn't say much, but he does answer that
he
question.
Says, nope.
No.
Nope. And so Teresa and Juan let him stay the night. They let him sleep over. And again, it feels very nice. It feels very warm to like watch it. You know, we have a lot of context clues already that, you know, whatever Chiron's home is, it's not great if he's willing to stay with strangers that he just met that day. But it's so nice that it was, you know, Juan, who we know is a drug dealer at this point, like showing a lot of empathy and kindness for this little kid. And again, Janelle Monáe, who I don't believe has ever acted before. I think this is her first. Yeah. Like you could just tell like she has real life experience with small kids and like how to talk to them and how to interact with them. Like I could not pull this off with a child actor.
Ever.
So she's so good at like talking to young Chiron here. Like it's so good. The next day so Chiron eventually tells them where he lives because we do see Juan the next morning take him home. And it's weird, like Chiron lives in like public housing with his mom and he's like at his own door knocking on it with Juan, waiting for his mom to open up, which I think is like interesting that he doesn't really have his own way into his own home. He's got to knock and his mom's got to let him in. But this is where we meet Paula for the first time, Chiron's mother. She's not inside. She actually walks up on them as they are outside the house. She's wearing nurse's scrubs. Mm-hmm. This is the best we're going to see her. Let's just say
that's a good way to put it. Played by Naomie Harris, by the way.
And she's incredible. I mean, this is a tough role.
Totally.
This Paula character. I know Naomie from 28 Days Later, where she kills it there. And here, she's so good. She's immediately suspicious of Juan. She's like, who are you? And to Chiron, she's like, where you been? I've been so worried about you. Like, you know you could come home, you know? And just like a really weird dynamic. Because again, he's a 10-year-old kid. And it's like, how worried was Paula during the nights? But she quickly like pushes him inside. And Juan was like, hey, like I caught him, you know, running around this neighborhood. You know the one. Like, and she has this like knowing look on her face, like, oh yeah, he should not have been over there. And she doesn't really even thank Juan, and she kind of just like closes the door in his face.
It's interesting too. I was thinking that she like went to work, like you know, like you wake up, your 10-year-old's missing, and you're like, all right, well, I'll find him after work.
Clock in.
Yeah, I'll go to work.
I love nursing. I nurse every day.
Exactly. Which I mean, it definitely probably goes to show the importance of a job in this woman's life, but also, I was just like, wow, she went and did a full shift shift before coming back and figuring out where her son went.
Yeah, and so they live in a very modest home, and she's already inside, kind of being like, "You're a real prize, Chiron." Like, and
she's like says some things like, "When you're supposed to come home, you come home."
Yeah,
like she's she is kind of being motherly.
Yeah.
Even Chiron like goes to watch TV and she's like, nope, TV privileges revoked. Yeah, so you're like, okay, this mom like is being motherly. She's like trying to figure it out, but you also know he doesn't trust her fully. Yeah. You're kind of still figuring out this relationship.
Next, we kind of cut to a bunch of young boys playing some sort of sport out in a field.
But yeah, they are just kind of running around.
Yeah. The director in the director commentary said that this was like a common game. I was going to ask you, Carly, I was like, what sport is this?
Did they say what game it was?
Yeah, it was
they were like kicking like a...
It's like called like throw up and tackle or something like that. Like you create this like ball out of like newspaper. Yeah. And one kid like throws it up and whoever catches it, you're meant to tackle the person who catches the ball.
Oh, no, that's not a game I've seen on TV. It kind of looks like
soccer.
Well, yeah, they were like kicking around this like balled up, thing of paper. So,
and visually, Chiron is always like away from the boys. Like he's at the back of the pack. He's not really jumping in. Everyone else is having fun or whatever. And so eventually, Chiron just starts to walk away from the group, and that's not good enough for another little boy, little young Kevin here, his friend.
I wrote friend Kevin, sweetie pie, cutie pie.
Yeah, so sweet.
He's like, so nice.
He's like, where are you going, Chiron? And he's like, I'm just walking. So they have this like cute little talk that eventually leads to like them like wrestling on the ground.
He's like, you gotta show him you're tough.
Yeah.
Chiron. And then Kevin kind of like shoves them, and then they like fight like boys do. Right, Brad?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, you could probably remember fighting growing up. And then Kevin's like, see, little, I knew you wasn't soft. And they just kind of walk away like friends. It's a cute interaction.
So we're going to get Kevin's an important character to the story. We're going to meet an iteration of Kevin in each part. Yeah.
And I will say this interaction with Kevin is the first time I think we see Chiron smile.
Yeah.
Or like feel like, seen, have like an actual conversation. Like he says still not very many words, but he at least talks with Kevin, and you can tell he's like comfortable and with this relationship.
So the next time we see Chiron, he has made his way all the way to Juan's house. Juan kind of just drives home and sees Chiron just waiting in his yard. And then we cut to them at the beach. Mm-hmm. And this is, I think, an incredibly important scene to both the movie. And I think just in general, Mahershala's, in particular, his performance here is just so good. But
so good.
He teaches Chiron how to swim. So they go out into the ocean, and it's so good. The camera's like in the water with them, and he's like teaching Chiron how to flow, and he's just being like, it's okay, like I got you, like trust me, just let go, like you're gonna be fine, like really breaking down, I think, all the walls and barriers that Chiron has like built up, and Juan's like breaking them all down, and then we do see Chiron just like having fun, like with him and playing in the water.
You see Chiron being taught something. Yeah. You see him become a little more confident. Like you can see at first he's like looking at the ocean kind of like weary of it. Yeah. And he's like helping him like float on his back, which I think is like the first lesson in swimming usually. But I loved when Juan said to Little, he was like floating. He's like, see that right there? You in the middle of the world, man. And I just really liked that. And you could just tell, I think Chiron then looks up at Juan, and is just, this scene in general I know is a very iconic part of the movie. Yeah. And it was good. It gave me chills, and I really liked it.
So a little bit later, they're like on the beach and they're talking, and Juan's opening up about his life a little bit. He's originally from Cuba, and is telling Chiron like, hey, like, when I was like you, I was getting in all sorts of trouble. I was just like you. And, I grew up in Cuba. Also kind of saying that like here in Miami in the Cuban community, it's just a much different experience. He's telling Chiron like, there's black people everywhere. There's a lot of black people in Cuba. And I think when he got to Miami, he's experienced a bit of otherness himself. Juan has, that Chiron himself is certainly feeling for different reasons. But Juan tells him this story that growing up in Cuba, he ran past this old woman one day, and this old woman told him like, oh, in Moonlight, black boys look blue. I'm going to call you Blue. And that's like the name of the play that was unpublished that this is based off of. That's the title, In Moonlight, Black Boys Look Blue. So Chiron looks at Juan, he's like, so your name is Blue? And Juan says, no. But he's like, at some point, you got to decide who you're going to be. Don't let anybody decide that for you. And
chills.
Yeah. It's so good, and it's so important to Chiron, his character. I mean, the whole theme of the movie is right there. Is like you deciding for yourself what you're going to be. Don't let the world tell you otherwise. Really powerful scene. So that night, Juan drops him back at home, and this time Paula is inside the house, and when Chiron knocks, she wrenches the door open. She just she pulls Chiron into the house and just immediately slams the door in Juan's face. Juan's like, whoa, closes the door. And inside the apartment, there's a random man there with Paula. Paula's quickly grabbing up a bunch of little glass trinkets, a little paraphernalia, and taking it to the back room, a back room we never see, but it's clear what is happening in the back room. And the strange man gets up and he says like almost the exact same line Juan did. He's like, "What's up, little man?" And Chiron just has nothing but a stank eye for this man, who then just goes into the back room with Paula. So I think that's our first cue here that Paula is struggling with addiction, with drugs. This man is clearly there either supplying her drugs or is just participating in drugs with her, and that's what's happening in the back room. Enabling. Yeah, so...
And they just shut the door and it shows Chiron just by himself.
Yeah, the camera never takes us back there, but, I think that's actually more powerful to not actively see it on the screen, but, he knows, and again, he's observing all of this, and he's putting the pieces together himself. So now we cut to the school.
Cut to the school. And Chiron walks in. I don't even know where they are, but Chiron walks in on a group of boys, Kevin included, who all are showing off their willies. Yeah, they all just kind of go in, and then you see them all just like close the door. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, did they just all pull their pants down? And then I backed it up, and then I was like, oh my God, they did. And I just watched this twice.
Perfect.
I know. I was like, wait, why did I do that? But no, I was like, okay, I wonder if that's normal. I have to ask Brad.
So yeah, this is played like, young boys curious about, they're comparing each other or whatever. They're all talking about like, mine's this size, mine's that, mine looks like this. I will say, I don't know how common this is as a young boy experience. I never experienced this. I would be mortified to participate in this. But I did not grow up with just surrounded by boys in general. Like my friends were girls, like they were not boys. I did not have, here we only see Chiron sort of surrounded by a small army of boys, we don't see little girls period in this movie. So I just didn't grow up in that environment. Maybe if I had, maybe that would be different. It's like, maybe that's more natural. The director said this was like an experience he has had himself as a young boy, and that's why it's in the film. But for me, it's kind of gay.
Kind of gay. We're all thinking it.
And so we see Chiron come back to the apartment, and I thought this was very subtle and well done. Yeah. But as soon as he walks in, the camera lingers on the spot where the TV used to be, and the TV is gone. So again, another clue here that she sold it for money. We also see him take a bath, but he's got to warm up the water on the stovetop, this huge pot of water, and then pour it into the bathtub to take a hot bath. And I don't know if that's another indicator of just the low income housing that they're in, or Paula's not paying her bills or whatever, so they don't have hot water, but I just thought that was sad. And he's just there by himself.
Well, and he's using dish soap. I don't know if you clocked that, but he was filling the tub with dish soap, and he put dish soap on his hair, and he like you said, I think this scene was just to show, yes, the TV gone, and that was, like you said, very subtle and a good tidbit, but then just to show how alone he is. He's just sitting in the bath at the end of the scene, and you just see him soaping his hair, and he's just looking down into the tub.
It's heartbreaking, and this leads into another heartbreaking scene, because that night we're going to cut back to Juan. He's back to his street of business. And it's nighttime, and he's out there, and he notices there's a parked car here, and he's immediately suspicious of it. My understanding is you come, you get your merchandise, and you need to leave. But this parked car indicates that these people were smoking up right here on the street. I think that's bad for business. It's bad, if the police were to come or whatever. So Juan's I'm going to shut that down, walks over to this car, peers into the driver window, and it's Paula and that man from the apartment. And it's immediate. Juan sees her in the passenger seat, recognizes Paula immediately. She clocks him. Yeah. Yep. And he just very quickly goes to the other side of the car, yanks open the door, pulls her out of the car. It's just this kind of heartbreaking scene, because now Juan knows that he is Paula's supplier. She has this addiction in part because of his dealing. Yeah. And she's yelling at him. Wonderful acting work between the both of them. And she's like, you go and raise my son. She just keeps screaming at them. He's like, are you?
Who's going to raise your son?
Ugh, it's chills. And she was like, are you going to explain to him why the other boys pick on him? Why they tease him, why they beat on him? And she's like, you're going to keep selling me rocks? And you can just see, he is crushed. Mahershala plays this so well. he is crushed that she is there. He knows like the reason Chiron doesn't like being at home, he is culpable in that.
Yeah. Well, and I think she even says like, oh, but I gotta get it somewhere, don't I? So
Yeah.
I think she even clocks too like you wish that you weren't enabling her in this way, but also like it's business, and she knows that, he knows that, so it's this weird like heartbreaking interaction where they both kind of know what they're doing and how bad it is for Chiron.
Yeah, she does get out of there and she heads home, and she really takes her anger out on Chiron. And this movie is shot very beautifully, I think. And it's like you see Chiron just standing there facing the camera. And it's cutting to her. She's also looking back at the camera. And there's no audible dialogue here, but you just see her screaming at him. And then she slowly kind of retreats back into like her bedroom and closes the door. That room that we, don't go into. And does Chiron even understand why she's yelling at him? Like why any of this is happening?
Yeah.
And this will lead to the next day, probably one of my favorite scenes and one of the most important scenes.
I wrote down a lot of dialogue because it was so good.
So Chiron makes it all the way back to Juan's house the next day. And then he's like, Teresa, your boyfriend's here. And he comes in and she's like, are you talking to me today? And Chiron's got full puppy dog face. He's not talking. She's like, I don't want to talk to you anyways. And again, it's just so good. And so they sit at the table. Teresa joins them. And the kid hasn't said anything until finally he's like, what's a faggot? Juan is taken aback. And then I wrote this down. He's like, faggot is a word to make gay people feel bad about themselves, which I think is so powerful. I think as a gay guy myself, I've never just heard it quite said that way.
Yeah.
And Chiron is like, am I a faggot? And Juan immediately is like, no. He's like, you might be gay, but don't ever let anyone tell you that you're a faggot.
Yeah.
He was like, how do I know? And Teresa's like, you'll know when you know. And Juan's like, you don't got to know right now.
Juan says, you just do. And then he kind of takes a beat. He's like, I think. Like,
yeah.
You could tell he's like trying to support Chiron and be like this supportive noise and voice for him. But he also realizes it's not an experience he's had.
Right.
So I think it was beautifully handled.
And then leads to heartbreak, because then Chiron's next question to Juan, and he looks at him while he asks it. He's like, do you deal drugs? And it's like immediate, like Mahershala Ali like drops his head. He can't even look at Chiron anymore. You can just like see the pain and anguish on his face. And he just kind of like nods a little bit. And then Chiron's like, does my mom do drugs? And you could see it even more. Like he is on the verge of crying. He can't even look at Chiron. And he nods again. He affirms. And then you just see little Chiron. He just gets up from the table and you just hear him walk out the door wordlessly. And you see Janelle, like Teresa, like reaches over, but the camera stays on Juan's face as he is in pain.
Yeah.
And that's the end of
Never
part
looks
one.
Whew. Really good.
Powerful scene. It's the one I look forward to. There's another one at the end too that I really like as well. But in watching this movie, this particular scene I always look forward to the most. It's heartbreaking, but there's also just, it's so beautiful. And again, the conversation around the F slur and just like experiences as a gay kid and just a way that you could explain it to a young gay kid who is asking, like, I just found that to be really powerful.
Yeah. Just a beautiful scene in contrast with how heartbreaking it is.
Yeah. So now, we are going to jump forward in time, part 2, which is titled Chiron. He is now in high school. He's a teenager. It's a different actor. And something that's really impressive is like, it's going to be 3 different actors, each playing a different age of Chiron, but the way that they had similar mannerisms, like the similar facial acting, like it's all very good. And I don't even think they worked together they weren't ever in a scene together. They couldn't be, like, so it's just impressive. So we get teenage Chiron here, and just to kind of set the scene of what's happened here, he's in high school, he's there with Kevin. There is a very hostile bully, a guy named Terrell, very scary to me. And things have not gotten better at home. So Paula, in her struggle with addiction, has now turned to prostitution, and that's how she's making her money to buy her drugs. And we're not going to really learn the specifics, but we're also going to learn that Juan is dead. He's not here anymore. That's the end of Mahershala Ali on this movie, which is crazy to me thinking about it. I mean, he had such a big impact.
Yeah. But
Teresa's still around, and Teresa and Chiron still maintain a relationship. So that's kind of the setup here in part 2.
Chiron still has this very meek demeanor.
Yes.
Like, whenever you see him still, he's looking down, very quiet, very tall and lanky.
Yeah.
Basically the same kid that we just followed, little, stretched out, very tall.
Yeah, you get the sense without Juan there, like, Chiron doesn't have like this protection anymore. Like he doesn't have this like figure in his life anymore.
Yeah.
So now he's like a little bit more vulnerable, a little bit more exposed to the hardness of the world. So at school, Chiron has a conversation with Kevin. Kevin loves to talk for the both of them. So he's coming and he's like explaining that he's got detention because he was like banging this girl in a school stairway. I almost thought like, was he like lying? Like, was he like bragging or like, was he overplaying it?
He gave a lot of details.
Yeah. Yeah, he loved telling the story to Chiron, and he was like, but you can't tell anyone. And Chiron's like, I won't. And Kevin has this line, he's like, I know you can keep a secret. I'm like,
Kevin?
Because he's gay.
They notoriously don't keep secrets all that much.
We see Chiron head home, and again, I think they're in new housing now. That's where, like, we see Paula. She is not looking good. She's on the couch. She's like, nah, like, not tonight. I got company coming.
Find somewhere for you to be.
Yeah.
And then he quickly turns around and
like,
leaves. Got it.
Okay, done. So he's gonna head off to Teresa, and this is actually the last scene we get with Janelle Monáe, which I
sad.
Like can't believe it. So Chiron spends the night over at Teresa's house, and again, it's very sweet that they've maintained any sort of relationship. And she's like lightly chastising him because he doesn't know how to make a bed, and she's like, you and Juan, you two are just thick as thieves. And they just take a moment, like the mere mention of Juan, they both just get this like sadness in their face. They're both just like, oh.
Because like you said, we don't really know.
We don't know.
We don't see Juan, but as a viewer, we don't know. And I think I read online, and maybe you heard this in the director's cut, but at one point, as part of this conversation with Teresa and Chiron, they like explicitly said it, like what happened to him.
Yeah.
But he said that they cut that out because they kind of liked the ambiguity behind it.
Yeah, he did talk about that in the director's commentary. He also talked about just like he wanted Juan to be gone. Like he wanted that to feel so stark for the audiences to kind of reflect how that loss would have felt for Chiron. So Chiron stays the night, and he has this dream of Kevin banging that girl but in the backyard.
Yeah.
But it's very much like, oh, he's having a sex dream about Kevin. Will that be important? Let's find out. And the next day, this is another kind of crushing scene between him and his mom, but he's kind of like walking through the public housing, and she's like, Chiron, hey. She's like, where'd you go? Why didn't you come home last night? Even though she literally cut to 5 minutes ago when she was like, don't come home tonight. But she's like, you could have came back later. You could have came back. And she's like, I locked myself out. Can you help me get in? And she goes immediately to the door and just lets herself in. She was not locked out. He's very confused, and she's kind of running around the place, like looking for money. And eventually she was like, I know you were with Teresa. Like, I just need a little bit of money. Like, you get the sense that like Teresa and maybe even Juan, because at one point we do see Juan kind of giving Chiron some money at one point. So I get the sense that they give him some money when he stays over. But unfortunately, Paula takes that money from Chiron
and really forces it out of him.
Yeah.
Like he's like, no, Mom, I'm not going to do
kind.
that. And she's like, I know that bitch gives you money kind of thing. And she really just tears into him where she knows that it hurts him the most, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And eventually he's like, whatever, Mom, and just gives him some money. And she's like, I told you. Mm-hmm. And then that's really that scene.
Yeah, like things are not going great. So he's like at school, but he's still being harassed by Terrell, the bully, making fun of his like tight pants or whatever. And so by the evening, Chiron really doesn't want to go home, and he doesn't really feel like he can just keep going back to Teresa's place. So we see him make it basically all the way back out to the beach. And I believe this is the same beach that Juan, had taught him to swim and everything. And so he's there, and this was mentioned in the commentary, but the ocean really did kind of resemble this like safe place for Chiron. It resembled like open possibilities. Like when Chiron is thinking about like getting away from this world and like carving out his own path or whatever, like that's when he's like at the ocean. Like that's kind of what he's thinking about. But he will not be reflecting alone for too long.
Yeah, so Kevin's there, or Kevin shows up.
Kevin just appears.
Yeah. I didn't know if I missed this. Like, did they say like, oh, I'll be at the ocean later? Or
No,
it just kind of happened.
Kevin was just there. I think he says like, this is my smoking spot.
Yeah.
How'd you know? Like,
yeah, something like that.
Like you would almost think this was like a dream almost, like the way that Kevin just appeared out of nowhere. But I'm pretty sure he's there for real.
Yeah, I think it was real.
I hope it was real.
Based on what happens, yeah.
And so Kevin sits down, and he was like, one of them mentions something about like crying, and Chiron's like, oh, you cry? And Kevin's like, no, never. No. And Chiron's like, I feel like he
says, I cry so much. Sometimes I feel like I'm just going to turn into drops.
Yeah.
And they had started smoking a blunt, by the way. Yeah. So you can tell tell, like, they really start to get into their feels. And, you know, they're in this state of mind where things are a little more emotional and the emotions are really turned up for sure.
Chiron talks about like wanting to get away, be his own person, and Kevin's all for that. This all leads to sort of they kiss.
They kiss. Yep. They do the old look at each other, lean in a little.
Like,
one leans in, one leans in. And they kiss, and then they kiss a little bit more, and it's really cute.
In the commentary, the teenager Kevin actor, you know, had a conversation with Barry, the director, and was like really nervous about the scene. And they said they had a conversation where, like, for Kevin, this is not the first boy he's kissed, but for Chiron, this is the first time he's done anything with anybody ever. And so I think that really helps inform the scene a little bit, because as they kiss, like, Kevin quickly goes for the crotch, and there's like unzip, and it's handy on the beach, people.
Handy on the beach,
and it's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Pretty quick. Again, Chiron never done anything right, so give him some grace, people. Don't judge him too much. But immediately after he's finished, he says, "I'm sorry." And Kevin immediately is like, "What you got to be sorry about?"
What you got to be sorry for?
Again, just sort of normalizing, like, you know, Chiron feels like he just did something wrong, and Kevin's really quickly to shut that down and say, like, "What do you got to be sorry about?" And then he has to wipe the mess on the beach sand.
Yeah. And I think as a viewer, and I don't know if we want to keep this, but I think as a viewer, you're like, wait, he's just got something in his hand? And then, you see him, like, rub his hand on the beach. You're like, oh, okay, there he goes.
Okay. And then Kevin drives him home, and I think he even asked Chiron, like, you know, have you ever done anything like that before? And so Chiron, you know, confirms, like, nope, never done that. And when he gets home, his mom is sort of like, Paula's like passed out on the couch or whatever, but she's not fully asleep yet, because she kind of like pulls him in, and she's like, I know you don't love me anymore, and it's okay, I know you don't. And he can't really respond to that. Again, like,
yeah,
what a night he's having. And things are not gonna get better for Chiron. I don't know if this is the next day or what, but at school, the bully Terrell, he's cooking up a plan here. He talks to Kevin in the cafeteria. Says, like, hey, remember that game we used to play of like
knock down, stay down, I think it was called?
Yeah, where we just beat up a guy.
Kevin's like, oh yeah.
Oh, I love that game. Yeah. And so Terrell's like, okay, like let's do it today. I'll pick out the person, and you'll knock them down. And Kevin's like, okay.
Okay. And you can tell Kevin's like wanting to fit in.
Yes.
Like he's very much in that like stereotypical, like, oh, I just want to be cool, but I also have feelings that I'm a good dude, but I got to get along with the bullies.
Yeah, there's definitely about themes about, you know, toxic masculinity, just sort of like how Kevin, I think, feels the need to perform in a certain masculine way, right, to fit in. And that's exactly the thing that Chiron is being sort of targeted for, and for not conforming. So, and then, yeah, we kind of cut to outside, and the camera work is really interesting. We stay on like Terrell's face, and he's like circling around, and the camera circles with him. And when the camera stops spinning, it's on Kevin's face, and he's looking at Chiron, and like this whole crowd is gathered in this circling, and Terrell is there with Kevin just saying like, beat him, punch him. And Kevin does. It's heartbreaking. Kevin punches Chiron. He kind of gets knocked down, and Chiron, I think, very intentionally, consciously, defiantly stands back up. So Kevin punches him again, and Kevin's telling him, like, just stay down.
Stay down. Because I think that's part of the game they explain. Like, once they stay down, you're done.
Yeah.
And he kept getting back up, and Kevin's like, stay down.
Yeah. And when Kevin can't do it anymore, Terrell and his like two buddies come in, and they just beat him to the ground, kick him. Yeah. It's pretty brutal, and a security guard comes over. He kind of interrupts, and Terrell and all of them, you know, scurry away. They're getting away with it. And Chiron's brought to the principal, and the principal is really urging him, like, tell us who did it. Just give us the names. Like, and Chiron has a breaking point here. He's like sobbing in front of this principal, and he's like, I can't give you the names. It's not going to change anything. Like, this is it. This is just the way the world is. Like,
he's like, you will never get it. You won't get it. Yeah. You don't get it.
And so I think this is probably the next day, or maybe the next couple of days, we see Chiron heading back to school, walking very determinedly, and just going through the hallways, walks into a classroom, and Terrell's just sitting there at his desk, and we see Chiron pick up a chair and just smash it against Terrell's back, knocks him to the ground.
Well, he knocks him to the ground, then hits him again.
Yes,
with the
that's
chair.
right. Yep.
It was awesome.
So he gets pulled away. We don't condone violence.
No.
And there's real life consequences. We see Chiron like literally in handcuffs being put into the back of a police car. Kevin is out there and they just share this look to each other. And that's the end of part 2.
Yeah.
So it's just tough because, yeah, we want to celebrate this moment of like him hitting back. But in the world, like Chiron's arrested for it. And it's going to really inform how part 3 goes here, titled Black. And now Chiron is an adult and hot as shit.
So Brad and I take notes separately, and the note I took was Chiron jacked and hot. And Brad wrote,
God.
"Okay, hottie,
Hottie,
wow." Yeah, he's super cute, super jacked, just like a cutie pie too. Like
Yeah.
I just think he looks so sweet. He does have girls in,
Yes.
but I still think like he pulls them off very well and just looks so cute.
Like when we see him, he's like in his bedroom, like shirt off, like the abs are abbing.
So much. Wow. It's a stark cut from where we just saw him being taken off this lanky kid who, you know, just found an ounce of confidence and beat someone to shit. But I also think it was an interesting cut to big buff hot Chiron because you see him being taken off to jail, and then they kind of do these like transitions between things, and you cut back to Chiron's mom yelling at him. Like no audio, but you see, and you know it was from before, like the same shot as before of her just yelling. And then it like cuts and you see adult Chiron like wake up like it was a nightmare. So I liked that cut and kind of bringing in that old, kind of showing like his old demons are still there. You know, they're still there. Sure. Even though he's big and jacked and hot, like hot people have problems too.
I don't think that's true.
You're so right.
It actually bugs me when hot people like talk about their life's problems. It's like,
sorry. Oh, you're just not hot enough? And you don't even have to go to the gym.
Right. So it's like, okay, at least you get to have this problem with your mom, but you get to be hot.
Yeah, but you're hot.
But you're hot.
And you have a fast metabolism. You said, I don't think that's true.
Visually, though, I mean, him being this jacked man, like, serves another point here, right? Like, this 9-day difference, as you described, from his teenage self. And this is a Chiron who has completely given in to those ideas of masculinity, to being completely buff. He's a total gym gay. And not only that, though, he's living in Atlanta, and he is a drug dealer in Atlanta. And his style of dress, the do-rag, everything is very similar to how Juan presented himself back in part 1. And he's going by the name Black, which is actually a name Kevin was calling him in his teenage years. But,
he's like, why do you always call me that?
Yeah. And so he's living in Atlanta. He's a bit of a reputation himself, a little bit imposing.
Well, and it's a cute scene too, and maybe you're going to get to this, but there's like one of his, you know, sellers, I think, was at his house and being like, here's the money, and Chiron's like counting it. He's like, nah, this is off. This is off. And then this like younger kid comes over. He's like, no, what? And he's like, yeah, it's off. I don't know. What are you going to do about it? And then he's like, I don't know. You count it. And then this little kid's like counting it. And then he's like, I don't know. It's all there. He's like, no, I know. I'm just messing with you. And he's like, gotcha. And he's like, no, like if you're going to be out on the streets, you need to know how to be messed with. And it again, like shows you this flashback to Juan and the lessons he would teach little. Yeah. And now Chiron's teaching these kids in kind of the same like jokey, fatherly leader manner. It was really cool. Yeah.
In the meantime, Chiron is getting phone calls from his mom, from Paula. She is still here, still in the store, but she's like asking him to come visit her, and she really wants to see him. So when his phone rings again, and it's like seemingly in the middle of the night, when he picks up, he's like, you know, Mom, I'll come see you tomorrow, okay? But it's not his mom on the phone. It's Kevin.
Unplanned.
It's adult Kevin, played by Andre Holland, a cutie in his own right.
Super cute.
And he's like, hey, Chiron, Black, it's me, Kevin. And like, it's funny how one phone call, it's suddenly like Chiron's like saw his whole life flash before his eyes again. Like, and
you see this guy who you kind of see is like a little more confident, you know, making jokes, and you kind of see him like
turn inward.
Yeah, turn inward, exactly. And just by his face, and he doesn't really say anything on the phone again. So it's almost like a reversion to like what he was before. It was again acted very well.
Sure enough, this phone call was enough for Chiron to hit the road and head back to Miami, where he's first going to meet Paula. And this is the other, I think, the scene I look forward to the most when watching this movie. And I think it's one of the most important ones as well. Paula is doing better. She is at a drug treatment place, and she's kind of staying and kind of working there like full time. She's getting the help that she needs. She's picked up smoking, but you know, that's fine.
We'll take it.
we'll take cigarettes. And they're outside having this conversation, just the two of them. And for a lot of it, Chiron is like looking away from her. He cannot really look her directly in the face. And I will say Paula really doesn't look aged at all. Like they gave her some little like gray wispy hairs.
And they definitely made her teeth look teethed up.
Not great. And she, in this conversation, she is apologizing to Chiron and saying like, I did not have love for you when you needed it. Yeah. And you don't got to love me back, but you're gonna know that I love you. And she's like, you hear me? And she forces him to be like, I hear you. And he can't look at her, and you see he perfects the one tear down the cheek. And I think that's what makes me get emotional, is just like seeing him get emotional. And this scene ends with them hugging with some semblance of reconciliation. She's struggling to like light up her cigarette, which in the director commentary, he said that Naomie Harris actually is not a smoker and was actually struggling to light the cigarette, and that he secretly told the actor playing adult Chiron to just grab the cigarette and light it for her.
Oh my gosh,
in the
cute.
Scene. And they hug, and the director Barry also talked about, so everything with the mom for Barry, the director, was based on his real life experiences. His mom is a survivor of addiction and grew up very much in this environment. She was a nurse. All of that was like very autobiographical, this relationship. But he said like this reconciliation also happened for him and his mom as well.
Wow.
When she was able to kind of survive her addiction, was how he phrased it. So,
wow.
So yeah, this is a powerful scene.
She, during the scene, asked him, like, are you still in those streets kind of thing? Like, you know, that you could tell by this interaction in the phone calls that they've kept up. Like, they definitely have a relationship. And he says, yeah. And she's just kind of like, Chiron? Like, and she says something, your heart ain't got to be black like mine. Yeah. And I think that was another way of just saying, like, you know, I don't want the way that I wasn't there for you to impact you still. And kind of one of the first conversations we're about to see that's like, you don't have to keep living this way, you know, like you don't have to do this because you feel like it's how you should be or what's been easy for you to be kind of thing. So I think that was another big part of that conversation. Yeah, it all harkens back to Juan saying like, at some point you got to decide for yourself, don't let other people. And I think Chiron right now is very much living a life that he feels like he has to be living in order to protect himself. And the director described this adult Chiron in this way too, of like, this is a man who has fortified himself so much, like nothing. He is so guarded now. Like he does not let anything through. In this meeting with his mom, you see that those fortifications being broken down. And so that night, and really the climax of the film, if you can call this the climax, but Chiron heads to this diner, which is where Kevin works as a cook. And, you know, Chiron takes his time, like puts on a shirt. Yeah. Sadly, puts on a shirt, puts on more clothes. Sadly. Yeah, you see him in his car, like brushing his hair.
Yeah. Getting himself all ready. Yeah. And he heads into the diner, and there's not a lot of patrons there tonight or whatever. So he kind of just sits at the bar and just waits for Kevin eventually to come over and take his order. And it's like immediate recognition. Like Kevin looks at him and knows exactly that this is Chiron, which is crazy because it's like, because he looks so different.
Chiron like walks in, and Kevin seems to be the only guy working. So he's like, I'll be right with you. And he's like waiting all these tables.
Kevin's Diner.
Yeah, exactly.
Slash Kevin's Wine and Spirits.
Third movie in a row. And so he's like, I'll be right with you, sir. Like, and Chiron takes a seat at the diner bar or whatever, and Kevin's still in the background. He says a couple times, like, sorry man, I'll be right with you. And it's like you see him come around the corner and looks up, and he's like, all right, like, and he has like his pen ready. He's like, all right, what can I get you? And then, like you said, immediate. It's like, Chiron. And Chiron, of course, says nothing. Yeah.
That's how he really knew.
Right. That's how he knew, because he said no words.
This is kind of a long scene. It's not a one or anything, but certainly we're going to spend some time here with these two men just catching up with each other. And as the other diner patrons sort of fizzle out, it really ends up starting to just be Chiron and Kevin here. There's a whole scene where Kevin is like making him a meal. And the director talked about how like, and for those who will be disappointed to hear, I feel it too, but we're not going to see the adult Kevin and Chiron hook up. But he said, the director said like him cooking this meal, this sort of like montage was like in its own way meant to sort of be this like sexual thing. Boo! I know. I kind of want to see the hot people just do it.
Yeah, there's not enough abs in that.
But it's very sweet. Kevin is just in there, and he's so carefully like making this dish for Chiron, who we know loves to eat. and they're sitting at a booth together, and they're talking, and Kevin's sharing what's happened in this latest time jump, and he's explaining that he has a daughter, I believe.
Oh, a son named Lil Kevin. What are you talking about? Little Kevin.
Oh, I wrote the word drug dealer and I thought that's a daughter.
A drug dealer daughter.
Let me reset that. He has a son.
Stop, you have to keep that in. He has a daughter named Little Kevin.
I just saw the D and thought
that does look like daughter.
So, yeah, Kevin Sr. here as little Kevin Jr. And we also learned that Kevin spent some time in jail. Like he references this time, and we're not given the full details, but he might be on probation now, but he's certainly not in prison, and reconnecting with his son and feeling like he's just in a good place right now. And
he really likes cooking. He said that he learned to cook in jail, and he really enjoys it. So you can tell, even like that montage of him cooking that meal, like he really likes what he's doing. He's happy where he is.
And he asked Chiron, like, what are you doing? What are you up to? And so Chiron reveals,
I'm trapping.
And it's like immediate. Kevin is
the disappointment.
So disappointed.
Yeah.
And he's like, bullshit.
And then he says, that ain't you.
That ain't you.
And Chiron says, you don't know me.
Who is you, Chiron? And again, just all these like themes of identity, all this like thematic, like who is you?
Yeah.
And Chiron tries to defend his lifestyle and be like, you don't know me, and why'd you even call me?
Yeah.
And before that happens, though, Kevin's like, I gotta take care of these people, I'll be back. And I only mention this because the director talked about it. He wanted to set up a moment where Chiron could have decided to just leave the diner. Like a moment where Kevin stepped away, Chiron's like facing the diner door and made a conscious decision to just stay. And so Kevin eventually returns to the booth, and Chiron's like, why did you call me? And Kevin said, this guy came in the other day and he went to the jukebox and he started playing this song. And the song we didn't hear in anywhere else, but for the director, he said this song was important to him and to him personally. It's a song that makes him dance, and he says, I'm not even a dancer. But also just like the power that music can have, right? You can hear a song and it puts you into a time and a place and with people that maybe you haven't seen or talked to in years. And so it's a very sweet moment where Kevin goes to the jukebox and starts playing that song, and the sexual tension is rising inside this diner. And so they take off. Chiron's going to give Kevin a drive home. And on the drive, again, the sexual tension is through the roof. They keep stealing glances at each other. And Kevin at one point is like, so where are you going to sleep tonight?
Right.
And Chiron classically says nothing.
Classically.
And so they head back to Kevin's house, and Kevin's in the kitchen, and Chiron's kind of awkwardly standing there. And eventually enough barriers have come down for Chiron that he tells Kevin, like, I've never been with anyone since you.
He said, you're the only man that's ever touched me, and I haven't touched anyone since.
Kevin takes a moment and then just like smiles. And now here's totally where it's like, okay, now fuck. It's time.
Yeah.
And instead, more surprisingly, we kind of cut to Kevin and Chiron in, I presume, Kevin's like bedroom, but we're really close up on their faces. And Chiron just has his head on Kevin's shoulder, and Kevin is just like
holding his head,
cradling him. Yeah, and it's very reminiscent of how they were kind of holding each other on the beach as well when the handy was happening. So maybe a handy was happening here. We didn't see any arm gestures, but it's such a stark visual of like this big buff man just laying on Kevin, and Kevin sort of kind of caressing his head or whatever, and like this very intimate, non-masculine sort of pose. And
it was beautiful. And the whole time they were in this apartment, and of course, I think as a viewer, you see two people go back to an apartment and you're like, uh-oh, something's gonna happen here. Like they're gonna do it. And the whole time, and I had seen this movie before, but I didn't know for sure, and I was like, I really hope they don't do it. I was like,
really?
that kind of would like ruin it for me.
Yeah.
Just because it's such a beautiful scene. Like, of course, I wanted to see them do it. Like maybe in Moonlight 2, I'll see two Moonlight, two Moon, two Moon, two Moon, two Light. Drift. Exactly. I was like, that would totally ruin it, and I'm glad that the director felt my thoughts, and it was just so beautiful, just seeing them.
Yeah.
In the way they were both just silent, emotional, and just laying there.
And we cut to a visual of the young kid actor who played Little, like Chiron, standing on a beach, and the director said this was like pure, like natural moonlight, but he, looks blue, and he's by the ocean again, a place that's representing sort of like freedom, possibilities, options. And so the camera's to the back of this kid, and he just turns around, stares right at you, and the movie ends. Yeah.
Chills.
Incredible.
Cinema. It was so good. I was thinking like I must not have been paying attention the whole movie last time I watched.
Probably.
No, I did not. I just must
sleeper.
I must not have been paying attention as much or been old enough. I don't know. I mean, that was 10 years ago.
We watched it with a group of people.
We did.
Who like, I very much see this as an LGBTQ film, right? Like totally. First and foremost. And so I don't really expect any straight person to watch a gay film on their own volition, but also like feel the same sort of like level of resonance or connection or whatever. But I think we did. I think we watched it with a group of other grads, and similar to you, I think when I first watched it, I wanted it to hit harder, but this is a movie that I think has like grown on me in the subsequent viewings that I've had of it, and watching it like alone in my own house. It's a much different experience. I'm much more tapped in. Like, this is not a movie I'm like really on my phone while I'm watching it kind of deal.
And that's a really good point. And that's something that I'm very intentional with when I'm watching these movies for this podcast is like, I'm not on my phone. I'm not like doing, a puzzle. I'm watching the movie. Yeah. And so I do think that really helped with this is like just the subtleties and the nonverbals. Like, if you are not watching, you're going to miss something like that. And I think that's a really good point with this movie is you have to watch it. You have to watch it, feel it, see it, what the characters are feeling, because they don't always tell you. And
it's no secret from me. I love this film.
It's a Bernays.
It's ladies. It just has some of these scenes in it that like are burned in my brain. I anticipate them every time I'm watching this movie. We'll talk about it certainly at this Oscars. I mean, it's historic for multiple levels, but like this is the first all black cast film to ever win Best Picture. Not a single white person's in this movie. It is the first and only LGBTQ like prominent film that wins Best Picture. Yeah. Mahershala Ali, we'll talk about, like is going to win an Oscar for his performance.
Less than 20 minutes of screen time.
Yes. Incredible, but also like first Muslim to win an Oscar.
Oh yeah.
This movie is also like the lowest budget Best Picture winner
ever. It
also was like the second least like box office hit.
Really?
Like, people did not go to the theaters, myself included, to watch this.
Wow.
And that people went to the movie less for was The Hurt Locker, directed by a woman. So I'm like, what's going on here? But certainly I read that this had like the lowest budget of any Best Picture winner, and it kind of holds that title as well. So
wow.
So more than just the big snafu that's going to happen at this Oscars, like Moonlight winning is historic. Like, yeah. It is such a unicorn.
And I have to imagine that they did not expect to win.
Yeah.
Because of the history of the Oscar winners and the nature of their film, and because of the lesser half. Like,
one movie in particular.
La La Land alone was such a phenomenon. And I feel like they had to have had no expectations of winning. Of course, I'm sure every Best Picture winner has a little bit of hope. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I assume that they didn't really expect it. And I don't think it was a big surprise when they did not quote unquote win, but then for them to have one, like, I just think that's phenomenal.
Because you have to imagine, and again, we're gonna get into it, but like the Oscars is not the only award ceremony, right? Like, you have to imagine both the Moonlight production crew and La La Land have been traveling together, going to the Golden Globes, going to these other like, and seeing like who's winning what awards, right? Like, I think heading into this Oscars night, everyone was like, it's either Moonlight or La La Land. Let's talk about our rating.
Okay. Well, it was hard.
It was hard. We decided to go with the moon.
The dark moon, because there's every phase of moon to choose from.
I did not want any of them with the face on it.
No. I knew you wouldn't, babe.
So this is like, it's whatever the opposite of a full moon is. This is one like, there is no sun bouncing off this moon.
Yeah.
And I'll start, and for the second time in our podcast project, I'm giving out a 5. I'm giving Moonlight 5 moons. I just do. I love the film. It helps that I'm clearly biased, and I already have a relationship to the movie prior to us even doing it with this project.
Yeah.
But I love it for everything that it is. Even if I had quibbles about not seeing the hot man fuck, like what the movie actually is, it resonates with me so deeply, and it's so powerful, and it's not stories that you get often at the Oscars or just in movies, stories, books, period, in general. So I very easily, handedly give this a 5. What about you, Carly? I dare you to go lower.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could give it
a 4.5.
I wish I could do half, but no, there's no question this is a 5 moon movie.
Wow.
No question at all. I loved it. Mm-hmm. I think the story, the characters, it was so perfectly cast.
Oh, yeah.
And just every interaction was so meaningful and intentional in this film. And I just feel like the main character, Chiron, I wish I knew how many words total the character says. It has, go through your booking count. Because it can't, like, there's no way it's more than 500 words, I would guess.
It's not even a long movie, I feel like.
No, it's not a long movie.
Yeah.
I feel like Chiron as a character... Mm-hmm. cannot say more than 500 words in the whole movie. There's no way. That I even think that's very high, 500. Yeah. So I just think for a character like that to say so little but mean so much and emote so much, I just loved it. I loved every second of it. Thanks for asking. Okay, Brad, I know this one's tricky, but would you say this movie's for the gays?
Can you imagine if I said no?
No, I can't. I can't imagine if you would say that. So
this movie is 1,000% for the gays. Like, you know, lately the gays, we've been spoiled with this really hot gay Canadian show that's on HBO. If you know, you know, where we're seeing plenty of hot stuff. So like, again, if you can just put aside your horniness, gay men, and just watch something beautiful, this is the movie for you. And Carly.
Yes, Brad.
We had at least 2 powerful female characters in Moonlight.
Yeah.
But is that enough for you to say it's for the girls?
this one is for the girls. I think it's for the girls.
Yay.
I do. I think this movie's for everyone.
Yeah.
Above the age of 17. I mean, just because it's rated R.
I mean, the handy was done really well.
The handy, yeah.
Was
tastefully. Tastefully done. I mean, I just think it's a good movie. Yeah. I would recommend anybody watch it. I think it's just, it's such a good movie. I can't get over how good it is. So yeah, for the girls, girlies, my girly pops, watch it. I would say this isn't for you though. You know, it's not for the girls.
No, yeah.
But the girls should watch it. And I think anyone would take something away from this movie.
I would agree. Well, before we rank it,
okay,
we know how we feel about it. How do you think the critics overall
I thought
over
about
at Rotten
this.
Tomatoes?
I thought about this. And how many movies did you say are 99?
4.
Yeah, don't look. I'm just going to say
I believe Parasite's one of them. We're looking for 3 more.
And we have, say, one of those spots for Titanic. No,
I will say I don't know that off the top of my head.
No, that's okay. I am gonna say I don't know. I don't know if this is even a word, but I've quabbled with 99. Okay, quabble is not a word.
Yep.
So I've quabbled with it. I have really thought about 99.
Okay.
And I maybe want to go a little lower, but no, I'm gonna say it because it deserves it. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna guess 99.
Moonlight received a score of 98. So if you had gone a little lower, you would have been right.
Did I not say I want to go a little lower?
You want to go a little? You basically said 98 without saying it.
I did say 98. Okay.
Could it be a 99? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it basically got it.
It took one probably white straight guy giving it a 97 and it popped it down a little bit.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
yes.
I think it deserves all 98 of those tomatoes.
It is our second highest rated film that we've covered for this project. So Parasite at 99, Moonlight at 98, and we have 2 films in 97. So we've been doing bangers lately.
Yeah.
And let's look at our rankings. I have a very specific spot that I will not negotiate on.
Okay. Okay, then what? You should tell me.
I want Moonlight to be our number 2 movie of the whole project. I want it to be Parasite, followed by Moonlight, just like Rotten Tomatoes deemed it so.
Okay, would you consider flipping those?
What? I never even thought. I forgot about the face. The face is the best part.
Oh, I forgot about the cake.
I thought I was gonna have to fight you on $1 Million Baby, which I think is still too
Absolutely no way.
Like, this movie is leagues and had better lighting than $1 Million Baby.
Yeah. Oh my God, the lighting. Get over yourself.
Okay, this is interesting. We know the New York Times said Parasite, the best film of the 21st century.
Yeah.
For me, I didn't even consider putting Moonlight above Parasite, but it could be interesting to talk out loud.
Here's my thing.
Yeah.
I could see it either way. I could see it either place. So we agree on that. And of course, I'm just coming off the Moonlight high. Like, I'm still loving it. I'm still thinking on it. I'm like, put it up there. And I think it could deserve our number 1 spot. But it doesn't have to be there. So if you, and I know you have seen both of these movies multiple times. Yeah. And you're a big fan of both. Mm-hmm. So I could see it being second place as well. And I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, this is where my gut is. I just don't know if I can articulate why I have this gut. I mean, Parasite is obviously a very good film. It has both tragedy and comedy. Yeah. It's thematically how it handles its themes of like class, like, is great. Obviously, it ends in such a memorable way at that birthday party. A kid's birthday party you'll never look at the same.
maybe in my head, I'm like, this is a realer movie. Like, this movie is raw emotion.
Yeah.
That movie, it was like a little bit more like fun emotion. Right. So I also get that. And maybe if we would have flipped them, I would have been like, oh, Parasite is so much more fun than Moonlight. We should put it first. So I could see it being second for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to
I want to put it second, and then our list is always fluid.
Always.
So just a few things about Barry Jenkins here. He is the second Black person to direct a Best Picture winner. We've already covered the first one, 12 Years a Slave, directed by Steve McQueen. Barry Jenkins is also the fourth Black person ever to just be nominated for Best Director. So there's now, that list has grown to like only 6. But yeah, he was the fourth to do it. He has not directed many films. After Moonlight, he does If Beale Street Could Talk, which is a film I did watch, mainly because I knew who Barry was at this point. And he recently just did Mufasa, the Lion King, which I did not watch.
I did not watch.
And then, yeah, I just wrote a lot of what I picked up from his director commentary was that, like, and I was so not surprised, but like just the character of Paula and how real that character was to Barry, I just thought was so significant and like cool that he was willing to display this character. It's a really tough character to have, and he could have also easily made her such a villain or somebody that you're rooting against or that you don't love or trust, but Paula is like a very layered, nuanced, complicated, and she's treated without judgment, I feel like, by the film itself.
It's a good way to put it.
And because it's really the addiction is the disease, like that is what eroded their relationship that they were able to get back. So
that's a really good point. And for a character that could have been like the antagonist of the movie, like I really don't feel like she was portrayed that way all the time. I feel like she was in, a piece of the emotion, of course, that Chiron was always feeling, but yeah, they didn't villainize her. They just made it very real, like you said, the disease of addiction and how it can impact a person and everyone around that person. So that's a good point.
We've been talking about it enough. Let's go into the 89th Academy Awards. This was hosted by Jimmy Kimmel, and Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway presented the Best Picture Award, or attempted to.
Wait, Warren Beatty, the brother of Ramtha?
Yes.
Wow.
The brother of Shirley MacLaine, who is the brother of Ramtha.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so Warren Beatty and Faye are the two who were set up to fail by receiving the wrong envelope. Let's run through the lesser half. I'm going to save La La Land to the end so we can just talk about that film separately from the others. But the first film, I have watched this movie several times. It's in my bracket. I actually love it. And I didn't remember that it was at this year's Oscars, but it is Arrival.
Arrival.
Directed by the guy who directed the Dune movies with a very French name. I believe, I did look it up. It's Denis Villeneuve.
You looked up how to say it?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's a director I actually really I like the Dune movies. He's done Prisoners. Arrival had 8 nominations, quite a lot, but it takes home only 1 win in sound editing.
Boo.
The next film is Fences, which I did not see, but I can picture Viola Davis in a backyard screaming at Denzel Washington. And she is going to win an Oscar tonight for Fences. 4 nominations and 1 win, and that's for supporting actress for Viola Davis. And we're always pleased about that.
Always.
The next film is Hacksaw Ridge. This is a war drama. Andrew Garfield's in it. It has 6 nominations and 2 wins. It wins in film editing and sound mixing, which is different from sound editing.
Of course.
The next one is called Hell or High Water. I have not heard of this, but it's written by Taylor Sheridan, who's like a big name now for old people, who does all the Yellowstone shows that old people really love. Old people and Carly.
Shut up.
Collectively love all these Yellowstone shows.
A lot of people like Yellowstone.
Well, then you might love Hell or High Water. It had 4 nominations and 0 wins. So the next film, Carly, you and I saw this one in a movie theater together, Hidden Figures.
Loved. Also, Janelle Monáe. Yeah, Taraji P. Henson, Octavia Spencer, Janelle Monáe.
Wow, okay. So Carly and I were both there, I believe with our friend Ashley Dorset. And 3 nominations, 0 wins. Sorry to you, Figures. Yeah, the next movie is Lion, starring Dev Patel. Has 6 nominations, 0 wins. And then we have Manchester by the Sea, which starred Casey Affleck. It had 6 nominations and 2 wins. Casey Affleck actually wins Best Actor, and kind of controversially so, because around this time he was under some heat for some sexual harassment allegations.
Oh, so was he Me Too'd?
Yep. So I probably would have given it to Ryan Gosling here for La La Land tonight, but Manchester by the Sea also wins in Best Original Screenplay. And so let's talk about La La Land, because La La Land on paper, it's so interesting that this faux pas happens with La La Land in particular, because La La Land comes into this night with 14 nominations.
Crazy.
More than Moonlight. It has 6 wins even before we get to the Best Picture category.
How many
which is more than
noms
Moonlight.
did Moonlight have?
Moonlight had 8 nominations, 3 wins.
Wow.
La La Land has 14 nominations
Almost double.
and 6 wins. And La La Land had just won in the Best Director category, which we know historically, often the Best Picture winner and the director kind of go hand in hand, right? So the director of La La Land wins that category. So Barry Jenkins does not win Best Director. And this is all leading up to the Best Picture. And Warren Beatty opens the envelope and it looks very confused. And he will explain later on stage that he was handed a duplicate envelope for the Best Actress category, which Emma Stone wins for La La Land. And the envelope, the card clearly said Best Actress Emma Stone. And so he was very confused and kind of just shows Faye Dunaway the card. And she's like, La La Land.
I know. She's like, if you're not going to say it.
And so the music is playing, like the whole La La Land team, Emma Stone, all of them head on stage. 3 different guys are giving acceptance speeches, and you can just see behind them a flurry of activity is increasing as each.
I mean, we just watched the whole clip on YouTube, and it's a 10-minute video.
Yeah, it's long.
Yeah. I mean, for probably 8 minutes, La La Land had won.
Yeah.
And then you see in the background, slowly people realize, you see Emma Stone standing in the background, all of a sudden she just says, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Eventually, the last guy giving a speech is like, oh, we lost, by the way. And one of the others steps up and he is like, there's been a mistake. Moonlight, you've won. This is not a joke. Moonlight, you are the Best Picture winner. Holds up the card, and like, the crowd kind of loses it. Like, they're excited. They're happy.
Yeah. And stunned. Yeah. There's like a very popular like compilation of all the faces of all the people in the crowd.
Yes.
When this happened, like everyone's like gooped and gagged.
Yeah. So the fact that it had to be La La Land, like if it had been an envelope for Hell or High Water.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
Where all the old people would have been so excited to see Taylor Sheridan. The old people and so Carly. Right. You know, I'm sure somebody would have been like, hey, I think this is a mistake. But the fact that it was La La Land and they had such a dominant results.
Yeah, everyone was fine with it at first.
So La La Land wins in Best Director. Emma Stone takes home Best Actress. It's her first of 2 Best Actress Oscars.
So deserved.
So deserved. It wins in cinematography. Of course, it wins for original score. It wins in Best Original Song for City of Stars and in production design.
City of Stars.
And so let's talk about La La Land real quick. I just want to make it clear, I hate musicals, and that's always been true.
Shut up. But so
yeah, you want to set this up?
Have we talked about our movie theater before? Where Brad and I met and fell in love, Manhattan, Kansas. When we were there, they were building this movie theater. Yes. Yeah, and they already had one. It was connected to a mall, the mall. The mall. And they were rebuilding it. And so all of a sudden it like opened. And I don't think it opened until our second year there.
Correct, yeah. I feel like this time period, I feel like January 2017, we were definitely in that movie theater seeing movies.
Yes. So we were like, oh, let's go check out this new movie theater. Mm-hmm. And did it change our lives?
Wow. I still talk about this movie theater.
100%. You like walk in and there was this huge, the first thing we see is this huge bar. And we're like, whoa, alcohol? Oh my gosh. A movie theater? And like, you know, nowadays like movie theaters have like some alcohol at the concession stand, like a beer or something. No, full on bar with a bartender like ready for you. So then you're like, oh, this is like a cool movie theater. And then you go in and you like sit down and they have these big cushiony comfy chairs. And what's at every seat, Brad?
And a little TV tray.
A little TV tray with
and a mysterious button.
Yeah, a button. And you're like, wait, what?
What's that button?
And if you hit the button, somebody runs out to you with a menu.
A menu.
A menu.
A man materializes in front of you.
It's amazing.
And takes your order.
And they have all this, like, any kind of food you want. They have appetizers.
Burgers.
Chicken fingers. So much on it. They can just get you popcorn. Popcorn. Yep, they can bring you just, normal movie food. Yep. At one point, I think I ordered a coffee because I was like, oh,
I definitely had a burger. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was probably $30.
Yeah. It was very expensive. But no, I ordered a coffee from there one time.
And if we had the drink bans, we could order a beer from there.
Yes, you would have to go get your drink band at the bar, but then you can order. They would bring you like beer to your seat, and it was always funny. This guy, and I'm sure talking now in 2026, people have been to these theaters before, so it's nothing new. But
this blew our minds.
2016, 2017, this was the coolest thing we've ever seen in our young lives. you would push the button and some person out of nowhere would come in. Of course, they're in a movie theater and watching something, so they would always be like hunched over, like running.
Because you could press that at any time. It wasn't just like at the start of the movie where you would normally in the middle of the movie.
And they would come running out. They'd be like, "Hey, what can I do for you? What can I get?" And you'd be like, "Can I get chicken fingers?" And they'd be like,
"I want a rotisserie chicken."
And they'd be like, "Okay, yep." And then they would scuttle away.
And then come back
with your food.
It was amazing.
So we saw a lot of movies. Brad and I were known for this movie theater.
Even if we were marginally interested in the movie, we just would go.
We would just go because it was our hangout spot.
Specifically about La La Land, if I remember correctly, Carly, we had made a deal. I was like, I'll go see a movie that you really want to go see if you go see a movie that I really want to go see, which now is kind of embarrassing to say out loud because the movie I picked was Split.
Split, yeah.
Featuring Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, and I was kind of like, okay. And then,
And then you were like, La La Land. And I think at this point we know what the nominees are. We know La La Land had buzz around it for sure.
Yeah.
It's Emma Stone, it's Ryan Gosling. But I will say the experience watching La La Land, and again, I hate musicals. Hate them.
Can't say it enough.
Can't say it enough. La La Land fucking rules.
Okay, and for those who have seen La La Land, you get it. But
you get it, yeah.
They start on this scene where they're on like a strip.
They're stuck in traffic.
Yeah, stuck in traffic. LA traffic. And they're all like, oh man. And then they all just get out of their car and they go.
They're all dancing on top of their cars.
Another day of sun. And I remember looking over at Brad and I was like, oh fuck.
It was like immediate.
I was like, Brad's gonna fucking hate this movie.
And then
it kept cooking and cooking and cooking. And it's a fantastic movie. Even Brad can admit.
My favorite scene, I'll try not to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but I'm wondering, Carly, if it ever stood out for you too, but it's like right at the end when they see each other from across the bar and it's just like, it's like the hold on like Emma Stone's face and just like the teary, smiley, it's good. I watched it in prep for this podcast episode because it's been a while since I've seen it. And it's still, the songs are banger and they really don't feel oppressive to the story. Like that's my big thing about musicals. It's like, we're going to explain all this important stuff through song or whatever. But I really feel like the music was like in addition to the story and there was enough actual spoken dialogue and actual like plot to like latch onto.
Yeah.
And of course, Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling are just phenomenal performers.
Phenomenal.
I'm really glad Emma Stone wins. It's a shame that Ryan Gosling wasn't even up against Mahershala. He was in the supporting acting category. So yeah, it sucks that Ryan Gosling, who has yet to have any Oscar wins under his belt.
I really thought he would take one for Barbie.
I know, that really did seem like
maybe it was his.
Another good place for him to get it, but
I can remember too, and I mean, what were we, like 25 when we watched this movie? I mean, yeah, like 25, 24, 25.
20, yeah. I was 23.
Okay. We're like 2 months different in age.
We were both 23.
We were both 23.
We were about to turn 24.
So you're right. I was older. So I just can remember being, again, I don't want to ruin the film, but that's kind of what our whole podcast is about. Heartbroken by this film. Like,
oh, yeah.
It's such a fun, upbeat movie.
Yeah.
And then for the movie to spin and evolve and change in the way it did emotionally, I remember being like, that's the perfect love story. And yeah, like you said, that look at the end, you can just, it crushes you.
Yeah.
And yeah, just a really, really good movie. Mm-hmm. And the soundtrack's
sucks that
good.
these two movies had to compete against each other.
You're right. It's a good point. And I talk about it all the time. Like how did this movie win? Like it was again up against the lesser half. They were just not good. Right. And then like if this movie would have waited a year, I don't know what the next movie is, but or been the year before, like I don't know.
In La La Land, again, why it's kind of unbelievable that it had to be La La Land. La La Land is just such a traditional Oscar Best Picture winner. Like, we've seen a ton of movie musicals at this point. So it would have made sense to everybody to hear La La Land's name, be announced as the Best Picture winner. So it makes me appreciate Moonlight even more. I'm glad Moonlight could sneak in here. But we can always say that La La Land was a Best Picture winner for a couple of minutes. So
they were. And I remember being overjoyed. I think I was like, yes, I love La La Land. I was so excited. And then I too was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
But I mean, looking back, I'm glad for Moonlight, of course. And it was interesting too, and we watched the clip, but like the difference in the people that went up on stage for La La Land and La La Land is a lot of people talk about the lack of diversity in La La Land.
Yeah.
And for it to, and again, fantastic movie, fantastic story. But again, with the changing times of Hollywood.
Yeah.
And, what representation in movies and film.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it was an interesting difference in the movies too.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just again, these two movies, it made it even more juicy and dramatic.
It's definitely a cringy Oscars moment, but it made for riveting television.
Yeah. I think Jimmy Kimmel came up and was like, I blame Steve Harvey for this.
Yeah.
Because I think it was like a couple months earlier, he announced the wrong winner of Miss USA. He announced the wrong person. And then it was like a couple months later, this happens. I think we were all like, what's going on here?
People have got to start saying the right thing.
Yeah. It was, a weird time in pop culture.
Well, the last thing I'll leave you with, Carly, is this Oscar's got a 67% Rotten Tomato score. So it is fresh.
Oh, certified fresh?
Yeah, this is actually pretty high for an Academy Awards Rotten Tomato score. But I'm curious, Carly, what actors you chose to dive into. You had a lot of good options.
I know. I really dove into mostly two actors. And it's interesting because they don't have the biggest part. I mean, Mahershala Ali, fantastic. And Naomie Harris were the two that I did the most digging in. And I think it's mostly because they had the biggest careers. Yeah. I mean, Janelle Monáe, and I took notes on some of the other ones. Janelle Monáe, first of all, born in Kansas, a Kansas girly. The Kansas, just like us.
Wow.
Yeah. And this was her film debut, like you said.
Yeah.
Like, how
amazing.
Awesome. And then in the same year, Hidden Figures nominated. Yeah. She's like, oh, acting? Like, she's in 2 movies, and then they're both nominated. She goes to the Oscars, the Golden Globes. She's like, oh, this is like easy. Oh, acting? Easy.
Oh, I can do that.
Why can't we just do this every time? So I can do that. And her music, I don't know if you know any Janelle Monáe song. You would probably know it if you
I think there's like one.
Heard it. Fantastic singer.
Yes. I know people like her.
Yeah.
As a singer. So.
And I definitely knew her as a singer before seeing her in this movie. So I was like, oh, Janelle Monáe? So love. So I want to shout out the other 2 Chiron actors. First we have Little, the first one, the youngest one, Alex Hibbert. Yep. And then Chiron, the teenage one, Ashton Sanders, like you said, them along with Trevante Rhodes, so good. And no, I just I think they just were so good, and I don't know if they said anything about it. I'm sure they didn't because I'm curious, and that just never lucks out like that. But I just feel like the 3 of them had to have sat in a room and been like, what is our nonverbals gonna look like for this character? Yeah,
I can't say definitively, but I almost want to say the director said they were intentionally kept apart from each other.
Wow. Fascinating. So. I just feel like the nonverbals were
I have it here.
Okay.
During filming, Jenkins made sure that the 3 actors for Chiron did not meet each other until after filming to avoid any imitations of one another.
Sorry, how? Is that part of what they wanted for them to imitate? I don't know. I get it.
I don't know, but it's kind of magical that they kind of synced up anyways. Yeah.
And maybe it is different parts of life you can, and I'm sure they told all of them the same notes, but to see different ages of actors take it differently, and I don't know. That's very cool.
Yeah.
So I just want to give a shout out to those 3 actors who are so good. And I've seen the front cover of Moonlight so many times, but I just realized yesterday that it's all 3 of their...
Yes, it's their faces.
But it's all 3 of their faces together. And I just think that's so cool. And I think it's something that after you've watched the movie and you see that, you're like, wow, cool. So Mahershala Ali, again, I looked it up, less than 20 minutes of screen time, and he won the Oscar.
Amazing.
And Leonardo DiCaprio was in every minute of Titanic and didn't win. Just kudos to Mahershala. And Mahershala, big of a name as he is, he's not in a lot,
No, yeah.
I was looking through his filmography, and I expected it to be very long, but it's really not. But just the stuff that he's done is super impactful, for sure.
We're going to see him again in Green Book, another Best Picture winner. I first met him in this kind of old sci-fi show called The 4400 back in the mid 2000s, but that's where I first met him, and he stood out to me there then too. So
he's also in 2 of the Hunger Games movies.
Yes, he's in those Mockingjays.
But yeah, he
like a military guy.
The military guy. He leads her protective people.
Her protective duty people. Her bodyguard people.
Her bodyguard people protective agency.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what formerly known as.
The CPA. Oh, wait. Before I forget it, though.
Yeah.
One of the other movies nominated at this Oscars, not in the Best Picture category, so not in the lesser half, but Passengers had 2 Oscar nominations.
For what? Best Story? Wait, was Passengers the first movie we saw at that movie theater?
It might have been. It won in Best Music. What?
Of course it did. It needed
not win, but it was nominated in Best Music. Lost to La La Land. What music? Do you remember the music in Passengers? Are you kidding me? The other one is one of these
Oh my god, this whole year of films we saw together because we went to this movie theater so much.
I know. Passengers was a big one.
Passengers, that is Brad and I's biggest fight is over Passengers.
Yeah.
We left this movie. It's with Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
And we left the movie, and Brad and I both just gave each other like this big like OMG look to each other. And OMG. And I was like, I know. That
What a
movie,
stinker.
No, I was like, that movie. And at the same time, I said rocked. And Brad said sucked. And I think it was a really good movie. Brad can't get over the ethical implications of it, but
It doesn't age well.
it does not age well. But I don't know. I think I would love for all of our viewers, comment below if you've seen it.
If you've seen the 2016 Passengers movie starring Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence.
Almost only them.
And
Really only them.
are you somehow team Chris Pratt there and what he does?
It's
in that
only
movie?
them. Passengers deserves a spot on the pod. So I'm glad it came out. And then Naomie Harris, by the way, Queen. She does a lot. She's done so much. She filmed all of her roles. She filled all of her part in this movie in 3 days. I don't know if they talked about that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because she had to do and it was like tough. Like
A lot of emotion.
yeah.
Totally.
Wow.
And she's the only actor that's in all 3 acts.
That's right. Yeah. She has scenes with each of those Chiron actors.
All the Chirons, yeah.
And yeah, that's crazy. Crazy impressive how like she can maintain that sort of on-screen chemistry with each of like 3 different people all playing the same character. Like, but she really does it. Wow.
And her character, let's talk about character arc, you know?
Mm-hmm.
She had like a character wavy line. It was up, down. I mean, it was never really like up, 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 but it was just like, it was so everywhere.
Yeah.
And she did it so well. And for her to have done that, allegedly, I didn't hear it from herself, but online they said that she did it all in 3 days. So
wow.
I believe it.
Queen.
Yeah. And then Andre Holland, I just wanted to say his name because he's such a cutie pie.
Cutie.
Yeah, Andre Holland's so cute. Really, again, all the Kevin actors, I feel like they wanted Kevin to just be a friendly, comforting person. And all 3 of the Kevin actors, I always felt like, comfort, similar to Janelle Monáe. Like, it was just a comfortable face, a comfortable spot, a warmth to them that I just really liked in all 3 acts. Again, a lot of these actors haven't really been in much before or since. Like, and there aren't a lot of actors in the movie, you know? I mean, it's, again, there's not a lot of dialogue. It's a lot of everything else, but everybody that did it just did so well.
Phenomenal.
And yeah, I'm really glad that we watched this movie again because I don't know if we wouldn't have done this. I probably would have never watched it. I'd be like, oh yeah, I've seen that. It was good.
Well, let's hope our next movie is just as powerful and impactful.
I'm sure it will be.
So let's do a little drum roll. Our next film, Going My Way.
My Way from
1944.
1944.
So we are heading back into time. We are sticking with the musical category. We talked about La La Land, so we'll see what Going My Way
This is
does.
a musical comedy drama. It said on Wikipedia.
Yeah, and I just think you can't be all 3.
How can you be all 3?
How can you be all 3? Going My Way?
Going My Way will tell us.
Find out next time.
Next time on The Better Half.
Carly, love ya.
Brad, I love you so much. Bye.
Bye.